Hello, everyone. So, welcome to our sixth podcast, which is part of our campaign called Career Wellbeing. And in the previous podcast, we discussed about adolescents' thoughts, emotions, and their behaviors. And in this podcast, we are discussing about human abilities and AI. And my name is Gautam. I represent Invisol. I take care of both operations and marketing. Here with us, Akash Sriramoju. He's an educational psychologist. And so, hi, Akash. So, before we begin our podcast, why don't you give a quick intro about you?
Yeah, thanks, Gautam. It's again we are having this podcast. It's been last 6 weeks we are trying to create awareness about how to take career decisions, especially for the age group of adolescents. It's been really good. And today I think it's a really interesting topic what we are going to have a discussion on. And as I said, my name is Akarsh, and I did my master's in cognitive and neural science. And I specialize in education psychology. We recently started this invisible company, and we are trying to help young people to resolve their career dilemmas and at the same time to prioritize their well-being because it's becoming very difficult for young people in today's world. And as part of our awareness program, we are doing this podcast, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you, Gautam. Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm actually looking forward to this podcast because the topic AI means it's always interesting for me. And also, it is mixed with psychology. That's more interesting. So to begin with, I want to understand what are the some important human abilities you all have. So, yeah.
Yeah, so this is an interesting question. What is the psychology of humans? We have to come from that aspect. So there are three important facets for any human. There are thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. So in this thoughts itself, these abilities come into picture. So in the normal language in psychology, we call this as cognitive abilities. Basically, those are like how you think, how you reason about the different information what you get from the outside world, and how you learn about the different aspects of what you are observing in the outside world, and also how you memorize it, and also the other thing like how you try to solve a problem which is faced to you in any kind of a situation, or whether you're also doing or utilizing your creativity or critical thinking to solve this problem, and also how well versed with the decision making skills which you have. So these all things comes under the cognitive abilities of any human, like from thinking to learning and memorizing and decision making skills and solving a problem and creativity and also critical thinking. This all comes under the cognitive abilities. Yeah.
Correct, Akash. I mean, it's very interesting that whatever you mentioned, those abilities plays a very crucial role in any individual, either from very younger age to becoming a adult. It plays a crucial role in his learning curve or to become a better person. It involves his thoughts, his emotions, and also his overall actions, what he has taken. And so, as we are talking about AI, right? Nowadays, people are got habituated. That's what I wanted to say because from very younger age, as we are talking about the adolescence age, they got their smartphones in their hand, all that electronic devices. So they start using all these AI models. For example, ChatGPT and any other AI models which gives continuous answers. So do you think these tools like ChatGPT and any other models are helping us or making people lazy?
So that's an interesting question. Like from since long time, like when we as a humans try to develop technology, like if you go back to some 50, 60 years. So since then also initially we had these calculators. The calculator is the simple gadget what we used to carry on hand. So this calculators itself, when we are using it, the simple calculations we need before calculators, how we used to do. We used to do these calculations in our mind, and we used to come up with the answers. When we had this calculator, we totally depended on these calculators, right? We for simple calculations also some 5 into 20, 5 into 12. we used to rely on these calculators. Then after that, we got the smartphones, and after that, right now we have this AI based tools. So since last 60, 70 years, we are always in this process of trying to develop a technology which will aid us, like which will help us to even think more or also solve the problems. So in this context, if you ask me like whether these kind of tools, even this chat gpt or all these llm based tools, maybe perplexity or gemini, whether these tools are helping us or making us lazy or whatever you asked me, so it's a complex answer to say, because these all technology is created by human to help us to understand the world better and also make the world a better place to live. But meanwhile, what is happening when we have these tools and we are utilizing them for in a day-to-day basis? But even as you observed in the calculator case, we are heavily relied on calculator for even simple calculations. We have not given some effort for our mind or even our brain to do the simple calculations. We are totally relied on these calculators when they have come up. But in this era also, this the same thing is happening. Even to write some simple sentences or to brainstorm about the problems what you are facing, we're totally relying on this chat gpt or other tools which are helping us to even get the better answers. But the whole effort what we go through to solve a problem or to write an essay or any paragraph or anything, we're totally depending right now on these tools. So the effort what we go through is not at all experienced by any humans in this age, like since last 4 5 years. And the young people are very much even relied on these things to do their homework or any kind of things. So that's how what is happening right now. We are not utilizing our own capabilities, like these thoughts or abilities what I mentioned, creativity or even critical thinking. We're totally dependent on these tools. So that's how we are outsourcing our abilities to these tools. We
Mm.
used to learn, right, when India is growing or emerging, India becoming outsourcing capital of IT industry. So whole IT work which is there in the US or developing countries, they used to outsource to India. Right now, if you take a parallel, as a human beings, we are outsourcing our capability to this all
Correct.
tools. Like we are relied on that. So if you ask me whether these are helping us or even making us lazy, I think it is helping us in certain way, but also it is also making us to rely heavily on these kind of tools.
Mm.
So that's how we are not able to utilize our own abilities what we have. Yeah.
Rightly said, Akash. So there's always a pros and cons to any emerging technology, what you have mentioned, giving an analogy of a calculator. Even sometimes I feel the typewriting also. Like, I don't know, like when this typing activity goes off, it's already done. Like nowadays we are using a lot of screen itself. And even sometimes I feel is that we are, as you mentioned, we are getting lazy to use our capabilities. So that is what I feel. We are getting relied on technology because that's what we developed for. I mean, we developed each and any object around us. We wanted to rely on any technology. We wanted to make ourselves more comfortable in utilizing anything. So I think it's rightly mentioned. We are at a stage where we are becoming completely lazy on utilizing our abilities or capabilities what we have. Example, a thinking ability. We are completely relying on not having an thinking about ourselves from inner. We are just trying to give all our emotional aspects to these AI models and expecting something, a direct answer, and we are going to definitely talk about that topic. So I want to ask one more question. Like recently, I've been talking to very young people who have just completed their intermediate and also into undergraduation. Right, we are already taking sessions to these young individuals. So have you find anything like up to what extent they are using the AI? And did you find any changes from there without AI to AI?
Yeah. So in the current world after 2022, like when this chat GPT has released, so ChatGPT has penetrated into every field like education, healthcare, any domain you pick up. People are using ChatGPT and similar tools like that to brainstorm, to get their work done, to write anything, or even do some calculations or to learn something. Right. When it comes to education, right now, what is happening? The young people, whatever the homework or task is given to young people, they are utilizing this chat gpt and similar tools to get this homework done, and now it becomes a burden on teachers to make them do or think something which is original by themselves. Like every time whatever the task or homework is given to a young person, they are going and searching on a chat gpt and they're coming up with the answers and they're just copying it. So this is the trouble right now teachers are facing. Now, this is not the new thing what is happening right now. Even 10 years back, when we are in school or college, we also have this Google search and internet with us. Even same thing also happened at that time. Like even teachers used to say, like you are searching on this in Google or you're coming up with these answers from the internet and all. But right now, it becomes very much important for education and also for teenagers as well. Like, how can we make some kind of environment where true learning happens and where they also indulge truly in learning something, not just by relying on ChatGPT. Recently, when ChatGPT has released their own study and learn model, even that is like you can go there and you can select that mode and you can learn anything from that. But sometimes people should also be very much careful because ChatGPT can also hallucinate. So ChatGPT may not have full-fledged answers or all the information with that. It may also hallucinate and it can also give you answers which make you feel like truth. So that may not be a real thing, but it makes you feel that is truth because ChatGPT also may not have the full-fledged information. So it hallucinates and creates its own text or stuff. So that is why heavily relying on these things and believing on that cues as misinformation more than correct information. So now you can see every teenager and all of them are using it for education purpose, and not only education purpose. As you can see, recently Harvard researchers they came up with a report. The most used use case, like for all these LLM models or ChatGPT, is people are using it for therapy and companionship. So they are going over there and they are having a conversation with ChatGPT. They are revealing everything about their personal life to ChatGPT and all that. Even OpenAI CEO, he openly came and he said, many people are using this ChatGPT for therapy and all, but the information what you are sharing with ChatGPT is not confidential.
Correct.
There's the whole whatever the conversation you have, the whole will be captured and it will can be utilized against you as well.
Correct.
So this is the whole problem. It's not just about ChatGPT. It's about all the AI things what are happening in the outside world. This is a concern with AI boards, chatbots, and whatever it is.
Mm.
So, but like one good thing happened because of AI, these LLMs is like right now people have accessibility to these kind of services or these kind of things. Previously, no, but to get a therapy or anything, it's like it costs you some bucks, like 1,000 or 2,000 bucks. Right now, people who don't can't afford that, they are going to this kind of chatbots. But I feel this chatbot should also be trained in a such a way where ethics and psychological nuances should be taken care.
Correct.
So this is how the scenario with young people right now. They're using it for companionship. They're using with it for their education purpose, and they are using it every day, and they are relying on that. And I feel this young adolescence age is also very crucial for anybody to develop these abilities. What I said. So if they heavily rely on this, I don't know what it will happen. There's no research as such till now. But if young people heavily rely on these kind of tools in the development stage of their abilities, I don't know what will happen at that time.
Correct.
We have to look for some researchers who get into this topic and do a research on young
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Well, there are very good points to mention, Akash. The first thing is, one thing I felt is even ChatGPT or any other AI models, it doesn't have very good answers sometimes. Even it doesn't know, they don't have the right information. So we face sometimes we are trying to train ChatGPT to give a better answer. And also giving certain information, this is wrong, this is right. Now, based on that, give us an answer. So many times we have tried to do with ChatGPT, and also youngsters, lot of youngsters are sharing lot of information with these AI models. You know, their emotional challenges, what they are facing, and the personal challenges, what they are facing. They're completely sharing all the information to these AI models. And it is rightly said that even Sam Altman, like ChatGPT CEO, I mean, OpenAI CEO, he also mentioned the information is, it's not confidential. There is no specific regulation on that. They are not airtight on that. And so I think people should think again before sharing any information on anything that I wanted to mention. And also, when we're talking about sharing the information, the personal information, and when we having a continuous conversation with the AI models or taking the information or utilizing it or sharing information and everything, so what are we losing something human? So want to ask like what are we losing actually when we giving lot of information or just blindly taking the information? So what exactly are we losing as a human?
Yeah. So in the last 1 year, there are a couple of researchers who got into this field, and they did a couple of experiments and they came up with the papers. Recently, they published from MIT Media Lab is one institute. So they are saying like if young people or anybody using ChatGPT for its essay writing or writing something for those kind of purposes, if you use it for prolonged time, what happens is like you are not able to utilize your critical thinking power. So what is happening is like you are not developing this neural connections. Like when you do it by yourself, like if there is a task of you need to write an essay on this topic, then you sit on this topic and you brainstorm and you come up with some ideas, then you write it, then you edit it again and again you write it in a right way. Then what happens at the time to form this essay, in brain you have this neural connections going on, so you will be forming new connections and you will be learning how to write an essay. But right now what is happening, if some topic is given to you, you are just going to ChatGPT and you're giving some prompt to ChatGPT to write an essay on this topic, and you are just sitting back. Then ChatGPT is writing that essay and you are again giving some prompts to make it write like a human way, and it's refining that whole paragraph and it's giving you human written way, and you're taking that essay and you're submitting the task. Now in this whole cycle of using this chat gpt as a tool to write essay, what is happening is like you're not thinking in your mind or brain about how to write an essay, how to collect some ideas, how to brainstorm about it, how to structure the essay, how to convey it in a simple words to other person so that they'll understand when they read your essay. So these kind of complex thinking is not happening with you if you use in a chat gpt. So because of this, researchers has found right now, if somebody is using chat gpt frequently, they are not able to nurture their critical thinking power, so they are not utilizing their critical thinking itself. So this is what they found. Like, and they are also not able to learn how to write an essay or learn how to deeply analyze about some topic. So this is how they found it. Like they compared two groups, especially three groups. One group they have given ChatGPT as a tool. Another group they gave access to internet or search engine. Another group they only have their own brain to write the essay. Then they compared these three groups. One group who has a chat GPT, another group who has this search engine like internet, and third group who only has their own brain. Now they found out through this EEG experimentation, they'll take a brain signals. Then they found people who use their brain only, they have much more connections, neural connections, which are happening compared to this ChatGPT or other group which use Google search or any internet. So through this, they understood we are not using our ability, our own critical thinking ability to solve these problems. If this goes on like this, then slowly we even forget to use our own abilities. Then we heavily rely on these tools. Then slowly we become uh, as if we thought about a lazy, or we are not able to use our own thinking power itself. Yeah.
Correct. Oh, yeah, that's a very good study what you have mentioned, Akash. Even I've read that. Some even what I feel is when what I understood from what you mentioned is that when any individual is trying to think deeply or trying to work on something, not relying on any other, you know, any other dependencies or any other object, but trying to sit calmly and thinking on a specific task or to achieve something, a certain neural connections will get developed in their brain. So that lead to his increasing in his thinking ability, which might, from my understanding, which might end up in good problem solving skills, probably increasing in good problem solving skills, or has depend need not depend on any other technology or AI models such as what we are talking about to solve a specific task or a problem. So I think that would become like probably in coming years, students stop thinking about themselves also. That might also happen because it's become uncomfortable for them to even think about themselves, right? Even they are not, if they are not open to think about, sit and calmly think about any task or any project they wanted to, or project like essay or writing anything, it might affect completely what I feel. And to this continuation, I want to ask, like, we have seen and we are been talking about this AI tools, multiple tools, which gives different features. ChatGPT itself is giving an option to study and learn and to research. So all the information will be available. But do you think any tools are available which helps us to think actually? So, it need to help us to think, right? I mean, utilization of technologies for individuals' growth. That's how it should be. And it shouldn't be for complete comfort of any individual. That's not, I think that's not the correct agenda to develop any technology, what I feel. It should help us to think and also grow and utilize our abilities at full length, whatever we say. So, are there any AI models have you seen recently? And yeah,
Yeah, so this is really interesting to know also for everybody. So as we are seeing this all ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity, all these kind of chatbots or LLM based chatbots, what we can say, this all comes into the one single model or framework called answering models. Like so in AI, you have two different models. One is answering model, where you go to this chatbots and if you have any concern or a question, you ask to this chatbots, and this chatbots will give you the total answers or information to you. So you'll get immediate answers or information to you. Whenever you have some concern, you just go and type, it will give you the answer. But the second model is like, this is another model, actually, which this model is, the aim of this model is to question you. It's a questioning model, which helps you to make you a better person. So how to become a better person, it will help you to do that. So this answering model right now, what we can see like from research and all that, what is happening, there are so much of advantages of using this answering model, but there are also disadvantages. Disadvantages are like you are heavily relying on this, you are not utilizing your own abilities. So that those are the disadvantages. These are affecting your mind and brain. But when it comes to these questioning models, these questioning models actually will ask you the question, If at all you have some concern, you go to that models and it will ask you the question to make you reflect or you think about the problem what you have. So it will ask such a questions like you yourself will sit for some time and you will think what is the problem I am facing, why I'm facing this kind of a problem, and what I can do to resolve this problem. So that's how these questioning models are coming up right now recently. All over the world, there are some researchers who are working on this kind of models, and there are some companies who have come up with chatbots as well, where these chatbots can coach you to make you a better person, become a better person, and it help you in improving a thought process or thinking process about yourself. So we also in Invisol we saw all these kind of things. What is happening in the outside world? We know what are the disadvantages of these answering models, and we also know what are the advantages of this questioning model. Why these are questioning models are very much important in the current world, because AI should not just be utilized for making human free from everything. Like right now, what is happening? We are making ourselves free from everything. Like we wanted to get rid of our physical strain. We want to get rid of even our mental strain as well. We wanted to rely on these tools. So we want AI to do work for us. But why can't we use AI for even making a human being better, like to improve their thought process or to coach them to think in a different way, to resolve their concerns related to well-being, and all these kinds of things also related to this questioning model. So that's how in Invisol from the last 6 months, we started developing and thinking about these kind of things. We researched and we came up with a questioning model which is specific to this use case of coaching our mindset, especially in the career and professional domain. So we developed a chatbot which is called Coco. So if we use this Coco, what happens is like for sure you will pause for a second and you will think, what is happening with my career? Where am I right now? What are my strengths? What I have to do right now to reach my goal? So these kind of things you'll understand and you'll question yourself by chatting with Coco. So that is how this Coco we are positioning it like a ally for young people. So this will act like an ally for you throughout your journey. So wherever you are stuck in your career or profession, you can just have a conversation with Coco to get clarity about whatever the situation you are part of or situation you are in right now. So that's how we develop this Coco, and it's available right now for the
Yeah.
world to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when I was also like completely excited to launch this Coco, so which we have recently launched on August 1st. And actually, we are getting a good number of users and we are getting an amazing feedback on that also. Okay, people are actually, got shocked when they started using Coco, but still they are able to resolve their dilemmas through that having a conversation with Coco. And so definitely, so with this, we'll end this podcast. And so to all the audience, we'll definitely put the link about Coco in the description, so you can try by yourself. And definitely, I can assure you that it will pause and makes you think. So it doesn't give any direct answers. And definitely you'll get a lot of questions from Coco, that's for sure. And so, yeah, so firstly, thank you everyone for watching this podcast, and you're very patient enough to watch this podcast completely. And we'll come up with uh, another topic in the next podcast. Until then, thank you everyone. And don't forget to share, like, and also subscribe. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Akash.
Thank you, Gautam.